Good afternoon, boys and girls. I'm going to go ahead and walk you through the last lesson for Chapter 2, Lesson 12. And we're going to look at how do you compare three-digit numbers. And unlike the last 2 days, this time we're not going to draw the numbers. We're just going to look at the digits. So here's a couple of examples. We're going to use place value to compare the numbers. Start by looking at the digits in the greatest place value position first. So the greatest in these three-digit numbers is hundreds, then tens, then ones. And we're going to use these symbols, greater than, less than, and equal to, in order to finish our work today. So the first two numbers we're going to compare are 483 and 570. So in the first one, we always start with the hundreds because that's the greatest place value position, the hundreds. And 4 is less than 5. So we don't have to look at the tens or the ones already. Any number in the 500s is going to be more than any number in the 400s. So 483 is less than 507. We're going to do the same thing this time. We're going to compare 352 with 346. So we start in the hundreds and it's tied. Since it's tied, we can't tell which one's larger yet. We go to the tens. Now 5 is greater than 4. 5 is greater than 4. So we know that 352 is greater than 346. You don't have to go to the ones unless the hundreds, the tens are both tied. Then you'd have to go to the ones. And there's a little trick too. When you're looking at two numbers, like let's just take, for example, 35 and 42. When you're using these symbols, the open part always faces the larger number. I like to think of it like a mouth that's ready to gobble up the bigger number. Like that. All right, now let's look at another one. Well, let's look at both of these. Let's compare 239 with 179. Start in the hundreds. 2 is greater than 1. So 200, any number in the 200s is going to be greater than any number in the 100s. So we'll use the greater than sign. Let me get my picture out of the way real quick so we can see the other problem. Pardon me. And let's compare 435 with 437. So start in the hundreds. Oh, they're tied. So look in the tens. Whoop, they're tied. So look in the ones. And 7 is greater than 5. So 435 is less than 437. And it's just that easy. Now, in these problems, they help you by putting the hundreds, the tens, and the ones into a place value grid like this. But some of the problems will just be sticking out there. So you're going to have to kind of understand that the hundreds is always on the far left and the ones is always on the far right. So let's compare 764 with 674. Start in the hundreds, and 7 is greater than 6. So 764 is greater than 674. If you get an answer in the hundreds, you don't have to go to the other place values. Let's look at 519 versus 572. Start in the hundreds, and it's tied. So we have to go and look in the tens. Now in the tens, 7 is greater than 1. So 572 is greater than 519, or 519 is less than 572. As you go through your work, make sure you always are understanding where the hundreds, the tens, and the ones are. Best of luck, and if you need help, you can always ask one of the second grade teachers.